Alonso, it seemed like you made a lot of progress this season. There was a learning experience, some bumps along the way. How would you rate your campaign?
Yeah, it's been a different one for me this year. In many ways, it was a rough start. I think I faced some things that I hadn't faced before in terms of not coming on in a couple games and not starting several games in a row, which I believe now looking back at it, it really helped me find myself and get to know what kind of professional I am. Because obviously, when things go your way and you're playing consistently, you don't really have time to reflect on what you can do better. So I think having to face those situations for the first time really helped me mentally and in terms of maybe figuring out different ways that I can contribute to the team or even get better myself. And yeah, I believe the past 4 months or so, once I started getting in the starting 11 more consistently for whatever reasons, yeah, I've honestly felt the best I've ever felt in the MLS. And as you say, obviously, I think the way I play and the way we've been trying to play lately, there's going to be certain situations in which mistakes may happen. Now, going into next year, obviously, I want to limit those mistakes, and I think it's something that I'm really looking forward to, the continuing or staying on this path and staying on this improving trajectory. And yeah, honestly, I'm excited for, as you asked me about myself, I'm excited to see what kind of leap, if anything, or what kind of trajectory this goes into next year.
Alonso, you played under several different coaches here in Toronto. I'm curious to hear your impressions of what it was like playing under Robin this year and how maybe he sort of differed from the previous coaches you played under.
Yeah, it's when you have 4 coaches in the 3 years that in the last 3 years, it's always it's not easy to stay consistent as a player, as a team. Every coach tries to bring his own idea of how the team should play and how even you in your position should play. I think it took us some time to adapt to what Robin was or is trying to do here. I don't think we have reached the level that we want to do it at yet. His idea is, I think, way more fluent and free than for example, John's could be last year, which was a bit more rigid and pattern-based. So we had a lot of those tendencies coming into this year, I think, and it took us some time to adapt into this different system. But as I said, over the past or throughout the second half of the season, I think we were really able to come together as a team into this idea and to really create those relationships and connection between different players in order to make it work and understand how we can benefit from it. And I think defensively, especially, we've really stepped it up in terms of effort, in terms of will to make plays and keep clean sheets and now going into next year, I think we'll have a very strong base in terms of an identity as a team.
Robin has talked about how proud he was of the team being selflessness, that people are working for each other, putting their egos aside. Richie said since the summer he saw that too. Did you see a difference in the makeup of the team as the season wore on?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think by the numbers you can see it. I think by watching the games you can see it. Last game I wasn't involved in the game, and for the first time watching it from the outside, in a game in which you could say we're not paying for anything, we're out of playoffs already, and Orlando was playing for everything. I believe we were the team that was more hungry to get the win and to get the result and to make plays defensively and to get on second balls. And you see so many players putting it all on the line in order to keep a clean sheet or to prevent goals. And I think that speaks volumes in terms of the shift in culture and competitive environment that we're going through. And it's every player from the attackers, midfielders, defenders. Obviously, the goalkeepers have, I think both of them have been great this year. And yeah, it's a testament of the shift in mentality that this team and the club is going through.
How would you diagnose the season in terms of the lack of results and the failure to qualify for the playoffs? What did you see as sort of maybe the one or two major issues hurting the team?
Can you ask again?
When you look at sort of the lack of results on the pitch, I think it was 6 wins this year, the early exit from the Canadian Championship, not qualifying for the playoffs. What did you see as sort of the major issue, or maybe it's more than one issue, preventing Toronto from getting more positive results on the pitch?
Well, it's the issues I think have been different throughout the year. As I said, I think over the first few months of the year, we really struggled to understand and to figure out what kind of team we wanted to be and how we wanted to get those results. And then, honestly, over the past few months, I think the only reason why we didn't get more wins than we did, and we went on that game time streak is because we weren't able to score one more goal than the other team. I think you can argue that many of those games we did enough to get those wins. For whatever reason, in each of those games we didn't. But yeah, I think that the reasons why we weren't able to secure more 3 points throughout the year is different. I think it's a tale of two halves this season, and yeah, the reasons again are different for both of them.
Alonso, based on your progress mentally coming off the bench, what is the part of your game that you think you develop over the period of time to be a starter?
I was able to take some time throughout those weeks in which I was not starting or even coming on. I believe it allowed me to find the freedom in training, to train freely, and to find myself in training in terms of what player I wanted to be. I don't think I had that chance before because of how quickly everything happened with my signing, and very early after signing I was starting already games, and then with a couple injuries, I think it didn't really allow me to settle down as a player in this team. And I think those few weeks in which I wasn't really playing, it gave me that time to reflect and look back and figure out what kind of player I wanted to be in this league and in this team, and how I could contribute to the team winning and playing the way we wanted to play. So then, once I found myself getting more minutes and in the starting 11, I had already been doing that in training, and I had already figured out the way in which I wanted to contribute to the team. So it allowed me to go out there in games and be very comfortable in taking responsibilities and making decisions for the team, and having that freedom to make mistakes in which that I probably didn't have before, and I was playing a little bit too restricted for what I would have wanted to do. And once again, obviously, those mistakes, I need to be able to maybe consider risk versus reward in many of them, but I think it is what is, at the end of the day, those mistakes it's what is gonna make me progress and get better in the future. So I'm not too worried about them as long as they don't end up costing us making playoffs or winning championships.